How do you populate and keep relevant a game universe the size of over 100 star systems? As we can now see in Starfield, when it's not the case, the planets and the space around them do feel eventually redundant and unrealistically devoid of any activity that makes sense. In this case, there just aren't enough human settlements, or when there are any, they just feel too small compared to one would have just imagined. Star Citizen luckily doesn't have this issue as it features huge settlements, sometimes going as far as covering the entirety of a planet. The question here revolves more around the other places, those being in the wild, untamed areas on the planets or a moon surface, or the open space within a planetary system. We know that in the future, players will be able to claim land and build an outpost in that area. It's worth noting, though, that there are no concrete plans to let players build their own space stations. And while there is no doubt that there will be plenty of players' outposts as soon as this feature becomes available, given the size of the game's planets and moons, despite them being 1/6 of what they would be in real life, there is still going to be a lot of empty space between these locations, which is fine, but would be better if they were occasional bespoke locations or infrastructures that would help truly differentiate one area over another. And the way Cloud Imperial Games could do that, in my eyes, would be by borrowing from Elite Dangerous one of the most interesting features Frontiers have developed for their space game, the player-driven community goals. So, for those who are not familiar with Elite Dangerous, community goals in this game are a way for players to work together in-game to help with the construction of new facilities, those being mostly space stations or planetary outposts. And over the many years of Elite's lifespan, there have been great ways to bring players together and interact with one another, either in a friendly or in a hostile way. Usually, community goals involve the delivery of tremendous amounts of resources or materials, which are of course then going to attract pirates and thieves who would inexorably be attracted by all of that wealth that would accumulate at the same spot at the same time. I think that now you can probably picture all of the potential of emergent gameplay that would result from it. Other activities are also occasionally involved here, such as, for example, combat, bounty hunting, or the search for rare harvestable via some good old-fashioned exploration. So, how could Star Citizen have community goals of its own then? And what would they add to the game universe? Well, first, I think that they could only work if the community is truly involved. Perhaps Cloud Imperial Games could create a quarterly thread on Spectrum and select the most interesting ideas to then submit them to a vote from the community. A development team, perhaps the one that made the Derek Outpost in Montreal, would then start working on the creation of these new locations for a release in an upcoming quarterly patch. As far as those new locations are concerned, there could be new outposts where players could trade, new racetracks, new space stations, junkyards, or even simply rows that would be placed between popular locations. I think that it would be fantastic if Cloud Imperial Games could procedurally generate construction sites that would then eventually be placed while the asset would then be created, and then players could go to these construction sites and deliver the goods required for the construction of these locations. And if one of those new locations can be created within just a few clicks, then thanks to, for example, the tools that already exist, the construction site would remain until the player base completes the said goal. Community goals have therefore two main advantages. First, here is the creation of new content, and then second is keeping players engaged over a certain period of time. Of course, this would only happen once server meshing is up, because until server meshing is available, it's going to be difficult to add new locations into the verse. But once this is the case, then that could be a great solution to add a little bit of content that players are interested in while we are waiting for new star systems. But anyway, guys, let me know in the comment section down below what kind of community goals would you like Cloud Imperial Games to add. Would you be interested in community goals added in the same way that Frontier is doing training for Elite Dangerous? I also would like to know. And if you answer the question and subscribe to the channel, well, you are in to win a triad of Furies, all with LTI. You can also have a chance to win by becoming a Patreon or a YouTube member for automatic access. You'll just have to enter your name on Discord. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to Dr. Forbin, Deplorable Fidel, and Zero Crusher, and everybody who supports the channel on Patreon and via the YouTube Gem membership program. I have been Irad, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. A premium video like this one takes a lot of time and effort to record and edit, and I am aware that you'd like to see more of these as much as I'd like to produce more as well. This is why I rely on YouTube and Patreon members as well as Twitch subscribers to keep the lights on and help me become one day a full-time content creator. The closer you help me achieve this goal, the more I can do for you. Together, we've already accomplished so much, and I cannot thank you enough for your support. You are making all of this possible.